Yeah. Did you see that video last night? It looks like in New Orleans, Nate Diaz puts a guy to sleep with a standing guillotine in the middle of the streets. And,
Really?
they're about to get jumped. Some guy shoots in for a double on Nate, and he just, boom, guillotines him and drops him. And so I would love to get your perspective as a lawyer on the legality behind using jiu-jitsu in the streets, if possible.
100% legal.
At what point, it's 100% legal, but at what point is it taken too far, or you might run into issues? Because the guy knocked his head, he cut his head open, and he was had a skull laceration from hitting it on the ground. As a self-defense, would I be liable for that because I put him to sleep and dropped him on his head, or how does it work?
It all depends on how good you are at something. So, for instance, a black belt's going to be judged different than a white belt. A white belt that puts somebody in a guillotine, first of all, a white belt probably is not going to even know how to do that. And if they do, they're going to miss half of the details, and it's probably not going to work. But if a black belt does it, he can kill you. He can legitimately kill you if he wants to. And so black belts are judged by a different standard, and they should be, because they know more. So if Nate, for instance, were to, and I haven't seen the video, but if he were to put the guy to sleep, drop him, let him fall to the ground, not a big deal. If he were to let him do that, hold the thing too long to where he damages his vocal cords, and he was doing that on purpose, and you can see him digging the knife edge in, that's a totally different story. So it all depends on this. It's very dependent on the circumstances. So if somebody, I'll tell you, in Texas, we actually have mutual combat rules. So you can agree in Texas, we're going to fight, and whoever wins the fight, and the police can do nothing about it. So it also depends on the state you're in. In Texas, the rules are extremely more towards the self-defense community. You basically can do almost whatever you want to do to defend your property and your family, whereas other states might have different rules. But like I said, it's going to be context dependent. I mean, if a guy is saying, leave me alone, as you're breaking his elbow joint, I give up, snap! That's not acceptable anywhere. I don't care what the situation is. But if a guy has a gun and you grab the gun out of his hand and try to choke him unconscious, and you do it too hard and you break his neck and kill him, well, fuck him. He was trying to kill you. He had a gun. So your response to that was commensurate with the threat. It depends on, if the threat is that you're going to die, then you can respond with that same level of force. If the threat is just a couple college kids in a bar, and you're getting in a fight and you punch each other a few times, and one of your buddy comes over and stomps on his head and kills him, that's not commensurate with the threat. And so that guy, the guy that does the stomping, is going to get in trouble criminally, as he should. So it's all about kind of the circumstances and the balance. But for people that are listening, if you are legitimately defending yourself, you are free to use legitimate jiu-jitsu in any way you want. And if anybody gives any of your listeners a hard time about that, give me a call and I'll represent you.
But look at that, guys. Look, now everyone has the perks of Brian at their disposal.
Yeah.